Hola, amigos.
Hola and shalom.
Togo, you ready for the exam or the test?
Not even close to.
It makes two of us, bruv.
I can't hear anything.
Good morning, Ate SL.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now.
Probably
It's,
because everyone's
5
mute.
o'clock. Pardon? Okay, guys, just a minute. You know that part about the Kamatz Hatuf? You can only use it if it's a closed syllable and open vowel, right? Remember that? Okay, at least I'm not the only one. Just a minute. I just thought of that just now. Forgot to study for it. Kamatz Hatuf. Maybe nah. I think it is open vowel, closed syllable. I don't know what a closed syllable is though. I forgot.
It's the opposite of open syllable.
I knew that. That's okay. Well, if it doesn't have a syllable,
Grace.
it must be closed.
The Grace. So. Hi, James.
Hello, guys.
Hey, well, how do you do your chapel? Is there a worship group when you do chapel? Like you do chapel every Wednesday, right? On Zoom. Is there a worship group? Okay. I should just go to it. Oh, today's Wednesday, right? You guys are Wednesday? Okay, I'll go to chapel today. I think today is July 1st, your calendar. Got my calendar wrong.
Ethel, you look really lovely today.
Okay, I should close that. That's a lawnmower.
Bro, what did you tell her? Dominic.
I told her that you're standing outside her door.
There, I shut it.
I thought that
That's
I thought that you told her she looked like a lawnmower.
Thanks. So flattering.
Just joking, Ethel. You look beautiful today, as always.
Thank you. I don't even know who said that. Where's
Did you
my
guys
watch?
pray this morning?
It's not morning. It's 5 o'clock in the evening now. It's in the microwave.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Reverend Chun
Good
Kim.
morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Sir June.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Pastor.
Actually, I heard someone asking the question, are we allowed to eat something since you are joining? Most of you are joining in the early morning. Perhaps some of you haven't eaten your breakfast. I'm okay with that. Just to make sure that it is muted so that we will like hear you chewing something. Okay? So feel
Yeah.
free to eat peanut butter, jam, or any bread.
Cookies.
Sir,
Yeah.
can I ask you a possible question on the quiz today before the quiz?
Yeah. What is it?
In order to use kamatz hatuf,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be a closed syllable and open vowel, right?
Right. It's a
I don't
closest syllable. No. Closest syllable and then unaccented syllable.
Oh, that's a closed syllable. It's unaccented. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
I got it now.
closed syllable means a syllable comes ends with a consonant sound. By the way, it has nothing to do with your quiz today because I'm not going to ask you to distinguish a closed syllable and unaccented syllable from others. You will only need to fill the form. I will provide you with the PowerPoint table as I showed you yesterday. You will only need to put the right PowerPoint and then name and it's a sound. That's it.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's
Morning.
time to start. Well, before we start, I want to ask maybe Jim, Rega, and Paul, would you read us in prayer, please? Let's pray, Jim.
Yes, sir. Lord, we come into your presence. Lord, thank you for the opportunity that you have bestowed upon us to study the Hebrew language of God. Lord, I pray for the teachers. I pray for every one of the students. Help us to learn for the glory of thy name, O God. I commit everything into your hand. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 All right. Once again, welcome everybody to the amazing Hebrew language class. I'm sure that we will enjoy it again. All right. Before we start taking the quiz, let me ask you this question. In fact, there is a difficulty from my perspective to proctor you. And as I said, there is no perfect way to proctor you. Whoever wants to cheat, you can cheat it. But it's a seminary, and then you are all the servant of God. So I just leave it to you. So since it is up to you guys, is it possible for you to take the quiz before you join the class so that we can save time? I can easily create an icon in our Moodle website with a time limit. So if you click on it, it will show you the quiz. And then after spending like, let's say, if I set the time limits as a 20 minutes, then you open it and then it will be closed after 20 minutes from the time that you click on it. So how do you think about it? Can you do that? And then, because if we have to spend like 10 to 15 minutes, like yesterday, I need to explain how to do it. I don't think I'm going to do the same today though, but we can save a lot of time. And then it's just still up to you. And then because you can take it anytime, right? At any time, at your prepared time. So I think that would be a really good idea, except the translation quiz. I want you to take the translation quiz in the Zoom meeting like this. So, but when it comes to vocabulary quiz or other quiz, then you can do it whenever you want. So does it work? Any objection or any other suggestion, comment? All right, thank you. So then let's open our Moodle, and then I uploaded your quiz. So let's go to the folder named number 5, alphabet vowel points and transliteration quiz. Click on it. The 5th folder. If you go to the Moodle website, click on the folder named number 5, alphabet vowel points transliteration quiz, and you can see that vowel points on July 1, July 1st. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Open it, and you have one Microsoft Word file there, docx file. Open it. And that's your quiz today. Don't forget to write your name first. Please go ahead. Perhaps you can, all right, prepare one paper like this, and then you can just copy. Or if you have a printer in your house, you can print it. All right, just to go ahead to fill up the form together with alphabet bet. Do you have any question? Okay, please go ahead. I will give you 10 minutes.
Sir, you mentioned alphabet. What, sir? Alphabet.
Yeah, number 5, folder number 5.
Okay,
And
sir.
then you have vowel points. Ami, oh, you are using 2. Because I can see that you have 2 accounts.
This is it, right, guys?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Professor Alabaya, I will appreciate if you can check the list of the students joining right now.
Yeah,
Class.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Dominic, do you have a question? Okay.
Not anymore, sir. Thank you.
All right, good.
Professor, do we
Yeah.
need to provide the sound?
Yes, please.
And you mean like, for example, like something like as like what's sound in English like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although you have A class, I class, E class, O class, U class, of course, they need to be one of those things, right?
Yeah.
But what do we mean by then, let's say pata, then what sounds does it carry? Then you need to
Okay.
put it in English, right below the name.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah.
if you are done, please take a picture and submit it the way you did it yesterday. And those who are already done and submitted it, please send me your thumbs up or your hand so that I can see how many of you have done it. You've got, okay, let's say 5 minutes extension. So you've got 7 minutes more. You have 5 minutes. So, Brother Pierce, you are in London right now?
Not quite London. I'm in the south of England. It's a city called Bristol.
All right. Have you been to Oxford before?
I have been to Oxford a few times, yes.
Great, great.
That's where you're doing your PhD, right?
Right. Actually, I may need to make my trip, perhaps last trip to Oxford, hopefully next year when the COVID-19 situation is getting better. Then I don't know if I have any chance to meet you there in person. It would be great to see you if a chance is given.
Yeah, that'd be great. What time of year?
I don't know. It depends on the graduation ceremony. So I don't know even if we will be allowed to have a graduation ceremony. So my wife has never had a chance to visit the UK. So she prays a lot to have a chance to visit the UK. Actually, she is born and raised as a missionary kid. She spent a lot of years in Mongolia. So the countries that she has been to are the Philippines and Mongolia, and that's it. And she has never made any trip to the European countries. So, and she really wishes to go.
Yeah, you're welcome. Come over.
All right.
My family's from my family are quite near London.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you'd always have a place to stay, sir.
Wow, it's a kind of you. Good, great. Yeah, I love Oxford. It's very, how can I say, antique. And then the
Yes.
way you guys preserve the nature and the old building, that's just awesome. So whenever I took a picture, it looked like a scene in a movie, you know. I love you, the UK. I hope you will have a chance to visit in even this school. Do you plan to come over here to study?
Yes, definitely. So keeping an eye on the Baguio quarantine at the moment. Yeah, my wife and I are just talking about it at the moment. Seems like we've got a couple of options. If the quarantine is not lifted and we can't come over to Baguio next trimester in September, we're thinking we might just head over to Asia anyway.
Right.
So at least I'm not doing these classes in the middle of the night.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, we might just come over to Asia in September anyway.
Great.
But hopefully, yeah, everything will be lifted, and yeah, we plan to stay on campus at least for the one trimester at least.
Great.
Maybe beyond.
Great. It'll be great to have you here. Have you been to the Philippines before?
Not to the Philippines. I've spent a lot of time in Asia, but never the Philippines. So yeah, it'll be first time for both of us.
Great. What about Brother Romero? Do you have any plan to visit your country soon?
Maybe certain, but for now, I guess I need to stay here because the ministry needed me here.
Okay, great.
So that's one of the main reason. So I guess maybe after 10 years, but I guess I need to arrange also my schedule if I can come and take at least one semester per year.
Great. Yeah, it'll be amazing for us to see you guys physically on campus. It's such a beautiful campus that you will be amazed, and then you need to really come and see the people here. Of course, the what is it, the nature and then the beautiful campus. It's awesome, but the most amazing part is the people here. As you can see, is what a privilege it is for us to have really a great group like this. I think we are representing about 14 different countries, having 18 students. That's amazing.
Wow.
And yeah, hope to see you on campus.
Thank you, Sir June. Thank you.
All right. All right. I know that it's kind of was annoying you when you were working on your quizzes and someone is speaking, but I just wanted to give a little chance to those two new students so that we can hear, a little bit about their life and, okay. So who needs more time? Can I see your hands? Okay. I will give you 2 minutes more. Is that okay? Okay, good, good, good. All right. Let me see who has submitted it. Elabaya, can you see? Is it coming in, the file? Okay.
I'm checking it.
Yeah. By the way, prayer will be appreciated for my wife. She actually our baby is due to be born on the 26th of July. Okay, this month. But this is the fourth baby, so there is a kind of a tendency that she might have the baby born a bit earlier than the due date. As long as the baby can be born after July 5th, the baby will be okay. But I need your prayer, and also I'm working on the finalizing my thesis right now. A lot of works, and as you can see that we are moving toward these online classes and need to take care of academic affairs as an acting academic dean. And it's a lot of works. And, it's almost 5 p.m. after I'm done with the emailing, just emailing. So hard, but I'm grateful. But I will appreciate your prayer so that I can finish everything well. And my prayer is that I will be able to finish the finalizing my thesis before my baby is born. All right. By the way, we have a chapel today, and then the Dean of Students, Debbie Johnson, is going to share the Word of God. So if you are interested and the time allows, then please join us just once a week. Good.
Surgeon, is it
Yeah.
mandatory to take part in the worship service?
Sorry, I missed the first part of your speech. What is it?
Is it mandatory?
Well, that's a good question. My answer is I don't know. It's very tricky, but I think so, but we are going to have the first faculty meeting on July 15th. And we will have a lot of agenda actually to discuss, and this is going to be one of the agenda because as you know, we are taking this new journey in terms of education. Everything is new to us. So even when it comes to this chapel attendance, I think it should be compulsory or mandatory, but we haven't made that this specific announcements yet. But the expectation is that all students are required to join. But those who have time difference like Pierce and Romero and Ethel, there might be some difficulty for them to join. So I don't want to say it's a compulsory thing. We can always give you a little consideration. Yeah, that's it. But I hope we will be able to get back to you on this soon. And then some of you already read my post about our digital library resources. Actually, we have really good digital library resources. EBSCO, which is about journal articles, and we have global digital library. It's not really strong in a database, but you can still borrow and check out some books. So that is about book. And then the last one is Procrast. That's a really amazing one. If you are interested in like Asian theology, and you can get a lot of information there. And then the Procrast is really well known for dissertations and thesis. It provides amazing, amazing work and information because those who are working on their PhD thesis, they study everything. So even reading their, what is it, bibliography will help you a lot to give you some idea about what books, you need to take a look at when you are digging into a certain topic. So it's amazing, and then we could make the subscription because of the donation of one of our students. So that's a amazing blessing. So I can sense that God is really helping us with this new journey. Okay, seems like it's done. All right. Was it difficult?
Yes.
All right, I understand. But this is my encouragement. Don't give up. It's not like mathematics. If you miss something in the beginning, you will suffer continually because it goes on and on and on, and it still affects you. But Hebrew language is not like that. Of course, it has some impact on the later lessons, but if you don't give up, you will survive. Don't worry. Just do your best, and then perhaps sometime this afternoon we will be able to form in your study groups. Actually, most of you told me that you guys are willing to join, so praise the Lord. And then it's understandable that if you are overwhelmed by a lot of things to do this trimester, it's okay. You just prioritize things that should be coming first in your life. So it's not mandatory, but if you are interested, that will help you a lot. So we will be able to get back to you on the list of groups by tomorrow. Okay. So when it comes to the dates and time for your group study, then you can just discuss it with your group study members. Okay, so you will be able to consider the time difference for Pierce and Romero and those two people, and just to determine how many times, just once a week is okay, or just once every 2 weeks is okay, or every day is, praise the Lord. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any question regarding your study group? Okay, FL.
I'm just wondering if we're gonna get our quizzes back so we can
Yeah.
study off
Yeah.
of. No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking you will probably use those kinds of questions in final exams.
Well, thank you, FL, for the question. Yeah, whenever we are done with the grading, we will get back to you with the marks so that you can take a note of, what is missing and what is right and what is, something that you need to really dig into and understand better. So don't worry. Whenever we are done, then we will send it back to you. Okay? Okay, good. All right, let's move on. By the way, you are going to take another quiz tomorrow on transliteration. But for the meantime, you need to make sure that you start memorizing your vocabulary. One student asked me the question, how many vocabularies will be appearing? Once again, 20 words will be appearing in your quiz out of 30. Why? Because in the beginning you have 10 particles, and after that you have another list of vocabulary from number 1, right? So you have to memorize another 20. So number 1 to 20. So these two vocabulary and then plus 10 particle. So you have to memorize 30 words for your quiz, but out of 30, only 20 will appear. Okay? All right. Let me move on to today's lesson. All right. We are talking about lesson 1, and then I need to congratulate you all on the fact that you are able to read a Hebrew sentence. Isn't it amazing?
Mm.
You know, this is the one of the reason why I like our textbook actually, because if you are using this one and then it is arranged by grammatical aspects. So in the beginning, you have to deal with a lot of things like, you know, nouns, adjective, proverb, what was it? Adverbs. After dealing with all those grammatical aspects, and by the time then you are done with this, then you can move on to verb and sentences. But here, we first deal with Hebrew sentence. That's amazing. And then the first sentence is quite important. As I said, what is this? Va yo
It's already
mer.
stopped.
Biomer.
Right? And then Adonai. So actually, we understand what it means by all those things. And let me move on to the next slide. But it's gonna be kind of a repetition of what I already explained. But there will be quite important lessons there. So okay, let me move on.
Professor, excuse me.
Yeah.
What do you mean by these? Like actually 4 different terms: root, stem, form, and special feature.
Yeah, we will come back to this one. So
Okay.
yeah, I will let you know. Thank you, Amos. Let me move on. It's not moving. Can you hear the sound? No, it's only me, perhaps then. Whenever I click on this and it comes with the sound. So nice. Okay, let me quickly read it. Biomed, we are talking about dagesh in the yod. What is the dot in the yod? If there is a full vowel immediately preceding the letter containing the dagesh is dagesh what? Forte. I think this is not new to us anymore. Strong dagesh and has the effect of doubling the letter in which it appears. Dagesh forte doubles the consonant in which it appears. It can occur in any consonant except the gutturals and resh. So if we have to put biomer having the function of doubling dagesh forte, then you need to put these 2 yod.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how many consonants are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Why do we need to do this? Because the first thing that we need to do when you try to analyze a Hebrew word is to find the location of the verb, and then you need to identify all the root letters. As I said, the first one, vayomer, is a verb, but it comes with other elements which are not the root letters of the verb. Normally, Hebrew verb consists of 3 consonants, occasionally 2, but most of the time 3. Okay, and then it appears all together. So there are 2 possibilities or 3 possibilities. You have to identify the root letters. Then the first possibility is gonna be the first 3 consonants from the beginning. So in this case, vav or yod or yod. All right. Another possibility is yod, yod, aleph. Okay. Another possibility is yod, aleph, mem. Once again, we are trying to identify the Hebrew verb roots. Okay. Then the last possibility is aleph, mem, resh. And what is important here? Your vocabulary. Without understanding the grammatical aspect here, if you know the vocabulary, then it will always help you. So I need to let you know that your vocabulary is really, really important. It will affect not only in terms of your vocabulary quiz, but whenever you are working on translation quiz, If you don't know, what it means by amar, and then even other verbs, then always hard for you to analyze the verb. Okay, so here then praise the Lord. You have already memorized the word alep mem resh. What is it? Amar. So it works in the beginning that way. Are you following me? If so, then nod your head. Okay, there, and let me move on. Okay, so find the root. I'm gonna ask Zombie, would you read the sentence after find the root? Okay, that starts with A here.
Root represent the origin or simplest form from which any number of Hebrew words are derived.
Right. As I said, why is it important for us to find the root letters? Because we need to understand the basic form of the verb so that we can come out with the meaning. So we are working on it. The second one, go ahead, Chompy.
Hebrew roots are typically composed of 3 consonants, tri-consonantal, occasionally 2 biconsonantal.
All right, it's not new. Let's move on.
Since the root consonant will generally appear together, you can expect to find the non-root consonant at either the beginning or the end of the word.
All right, I already explained on this. And then?
And your vocabulary will help you to find the root.
All right. Amar. Okay, by the way, how are you going to pronounce this? Just to put AA sound. All right. So then amar means to say. Look at the vocabulary. It is number 5 on page 410. Okay, let's move on. Let's continue to read. Amos, would you help us to read?
Yes, sir. This is verb schwa. It is a conjugation which means and. When this verb is followed by pata and the dagesh appears in the next letter, this construction is called verb conversive.
All right, highlight the word verb conversive. You will need to memorize this word, technical term, verb conversive. Do you remember this construction? I gave you a example yesterday, the Chinese martial art. Walter, can you help us to do this? Something like this. Who? Yeah. Who? Last punch. Do you remember? All right. Whenever it comes to the then it is called verb conversive. Say verb conversive.
Verb conversive.
Verb
Verb conversive. So when I ask you, what is it? What are the elements of verb conversive? Then do this. Come on. Last punch. Okay. Verb conversive. So verb. And then it must be coming together with pata under the verb. Okay. And then dagesh porte. So you have to memorize this one, verb conversive. Okay, let's move on, Amos.
Okay, so verb conversive indicates the idea that action is complete, so it should be translated in the past tense.
Right, do you understand? So verb conversive carries a significant information. What is it? The tense. More specifically, it is not tense, but the action, to see whether the action is complete or incomplete. So in case of verb conversive, it gives us the idea that action is just done, it's complete. So normally we put it into the past tense, okay, to carry the meaning of a complete action. So when it comes to verb conversive, you have to remember 2 things. What are they? The construction, the elements. Number one. All right. So verb, pata, and dagesh. And then the meaning, past tense. All right. Are you following me? So whenever I say verb conversive, then you do, come on, past. That's it. All right. So let's finish this, Amos.
So the translation of vayomer should be and someone said, not and someone say.
All right, why? The point is, it's not say, but it should be said, translated into the past tense. So we don't know what the subject is. That's why I just put it into the parenthesis. So we know that verb means and. So we put and, but we don't know the subject yet. But the meaning of about is to say. But we need to use the past tense. So that's why and somebody said. Is that clear? Okay. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, go ahead.
So like the first line, it says like on verb, there's a schwa, then it turns into va, then pata. So, the schwa changes to pata, so like why?
Well, actually, it is a conventional way. Actually, that is what Hebrew people used to do, and then what they are using. So I'm not the one who created. So I'm so sorry to tell you that my answer is I don't know why. But the answer that I can give you is that it has something to do with the pronunciation. So probably when they are using those words, then it tends to be va, okay? And then if you don't change sure to something, there will be confusion, because we are going to deal with another construction that comes with verb and sure. So in order for us to, the identity of this verb conversive, it should come with a different component, which is patar in this case. But you will deal with a case that comes with verb and sure. Then we are going to talk about it later. And just to tell you, the difference between verb sure and something and verb pata is that verb sure is called verb reversive, not verb conversive. We are going to deal with it soon, but in order for you to see just the reason why we need to have a specific pata here. So it is a part of indicator telling us the identity of verb conversive. Okay, Amos? All right, thank you for the question. Let me move on. All right, verb form. So form is one thing that you have to remember here. At the end, we are going to talk about something like, this is quite important part. Okay, can you see this small table? Actually, this is what you can even download from our Moodle website. I post, what is it called? Verb analysis table. So if you open the file, then you will have a lot of table like this. And then you have to put the root, stem, form, and person, gender, number. I'm going to call it PGN. Okay, not PNG, Papua New Guinea. So just remember PGN, then you will remember. Okay, PGN, and special features and meaning. As you can see that as a special feature, we put verb conversive. So whenever you have a special feature like verb conversive or verb reversive, as I just explained, you need to put it there. So this is the verb analysis table. So whenever you need to deal with a verb, then this is the table that you have to use to understand what it means by this verb. The first thing is what? Root letter. Well, actually, we start with identifying the root letters. So you need to know how to identify the root letters. Normally, it comes with the 3 alphabets, consonant alphabets, right? And then we are going to talk about stem today, and then form and PGN special feature. So these things are what you have to understand. Okay, let me go back. So the first thing that we need to understand dealing with biomed is the yod. So the yod here highlighted in the red color is called a prefix. Say prefix.
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 You are going to deal with another form called affix. And then infinitive construct is something like that. But prefix is the very first one. Actually, there are other indicators telling us prefix. The first one is yod, and then the second one is going to be tav and aleph and nun, something like that. So you're going to talk about it later. But when you have yod coming just before the Hebrew verb, then it's most likely it is called prefix form. Okay, remember this. So as I already explained, the first thing that is appearing in the verb is vav, pata, and dagesh, which is called vav conversive. So you need to take out, all right, those non-root letter, because you already know that vav, pata, and dagesh is not the root letter. It is called vav conversive, and it carries the idea of complete action. And then you know that this amar is a word. Actually, it's a verb according to your vocabulary. Then my question is, what is this? What is this yod? The question, right? Then you need to understand, okay, it should be something else other than verb conversive and then the root letter. Then now you learn that this is what? Prefix. And then what is the function of the prefix? Let's move on. In Hebrew, there are different forms such as affix, prefix, causative, imperative, jussive, infinitive, participle. Whew. But I do believe in Hebrew1, only affix and prefix will be appearing. And you are going to deal with other things in Hebrew too. So let me tell you, causative means something like, you know, let me, and then let him, may the Lord. It's like asking. Okay, imperative is just a commandment. Jussive is something like let him do. Infinitive means the verb that comes with to. So to do something. Participle means an ongoing action. So you don't need to memorize all those things, but I'm just trying to give you a little idea of what it means by those affix, prefix, causative, and imperative. Are you following me? So today you are going to deal with prefix form, but affix will be appearing. By the way, the prefix yod tells us about person, gender, number. Okay, so yod tells us on one more time person, gender, number. So what kind of typically 3 MSG? What does it mean? Third person, masculine, singular. If we have yod before the Hebrew verb, remember what is it? It is called prefix, and then it tells us the PGN. What is it? So third person, masculine, singular. This is something that you have to memorize today. So what kind of a PGN do we have? In terms of person, we have first person, second person, third person. As it says, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Are you following me?
Yes.
All right. And then in terms of gender, we have masculine, referring to masculine subject. Feminine, referring to feminine subject. Common, referring to masculine or feminine, something in between. I don't know. It's so much hard to identify what it means by common. All right. Anyway, yeah. And then number, singular and plural. So singular means there's only one. Plural means something more than one, right? So referring to one person, one thing, referring to more than one person, one thing. Okay. So now when you have the yo telling us 3 MSG, then it is he. Why? Third person must be he, she, it, they. But it should be singular, so we need to take out they, because they is plural. And then we have the gender, which is masculine. Then what is masculine among he, she, it? He. So that's why we have he. Once again, we need to understand what they are standing for, dealing with those non-root letters. Talking of a biomed, we have amar, which is the root letter, and then that's verb. And we have vav, conversive, one, last punch. And so we take out this, and then what is the function of this? It carries the complete action. Okay, so we normally translate it into the past tense. And then that question is, we have the yod. And what is it? The yod is called what?
Prefix.
Prefix. Praise the Lord. All right, you need to remember prefix. So remember, pre has something to do with something that appeared in the beginning. Am I right? Something in the beginning, pre. And then affix will come with a suffix. Suffix means what? Something come as an addition to the word. So prefix will appear in the beginning before the Hebrew root letter, and affix form will come after the verb. Are you following me? All right. So anyway, don't worry. This is something we are going to deal with when we have affix examples. So don't worry. But anyway, just to give you the general idea. So prefix form will normally come in the beginning of the Hebrew verb. So which is the yod. Then the yod. Okay, just give me a second, Adele. The yod tells us PGN. All right. So this means if you had another prefix form like tab, then the tab will indicate different PGN other than 3MSG. So the jod is specifically telling us third person masculine singular, which is translated as he. Adele, what is your question? Please unmute yourself. We cannot hear you.
How did you figure out that it's a he and not a she?
Because
that it's
the
male,
yod, all right, yeah, it's a M. 3MSG means third person. Could be interpreted. Okay, when it says third person, then we have she, it, they. So far, he, she, it, they are all possible. But when it comes to masculine, then we need to take out feminine and then common word, which is she and it. So now, when we have third person masculine, then we only have he and they, because they satisfy third person and masculine. Am I right, FL?
But how did you know it's masculine?
That's why I'm saying the yod is just telling us third person masculine singular. That's it. That's something you have to memorize. If you have third person feminine singular, then you will not have the yod. That's the hint. Okay, FL, are you following me? All right, thanks for the question.
I got it.
Yeah, so then we don't have any problem putting and he said. Is that clear? Can I move on?
Third masculine singular.
Is that clear? Just remember, the yod appearing in the beginning of the word tells us third person masculine singular. All right, then that's a he. So we don't have any problem putting he. And then where did we get and said? And comes with verb conversive. The first verb is verb, which means and. So Amos is asking me the question, why it's not coming together with verb sure? Because you memorize it in your vocabulary. It comes with verb and sure. But why it's not coming together with the sure as it appears in the vocabulary form? But that is your vocabulary form, but it will always come with some variation when they are put together with other elements, like this case, because this one comes with what? Verb conversive. So in order for the verb to be verb conversive, then it should come with pata, always pata. Okay, pata and last punch. So it tells us what? Complete action, and then the meaning of verb is end. So that's why we could come with the meaning of end here. Are you following me? So don't worry, we will come back to this one again and again. Just try to understand. So verb is end, and then pata and sure means complete action. Amar is a Hebrew word meaning to say. So we have the subject, which is he, because of the yod. So the translation is and he, what is the meaning of the main verb? To say. So, and he said. But it's not the, final translation. Why? Because verb conversive carries a complete action. So it should be translated into the past tense. So the last translation is, and he said. Are you following me? Okay, let me move on. So verbal stems tell us two things about the action or meaning of a verb. Number one, the type of a verbal action, simple action, intensive action, and causative action. It depends on what kind of stem do you have. So we are going to talk about it. As I ask you to memorize the vocabulary, there are two types of, or three types of stems, Q, N, H, something like that. Do you remember this? If you pay attention to your vocabulary list, then there are coming together with those signs. Q means Karl stem, N means Nephi stems, and H means Hiphil stem. So we are going to deal with it later. So here, as you can see, we have stem. In terms of stem, in Hebrew, there are 7 major stems, which means we have other stems, which are not major, but 7 major stems: Kal, Nephi, Piel, Puar, Hiphil, Hophai, Hiphil. So depending on what kind of stems we have, it determines the characteristic of the action. It normally starts with the basic form, which is the Kal. So the Kal is the most common and the most basic one. Okay, so when you have Nifar, Piel, Puar, it is derived from the Kal stem. So when you have Hebrew verb in the Bible, the verb normally appears in the form, in the stem of the Kal, more than 80%. So if you are confused, just pick the Q, then you've got more than 80%. Okay, but anyway, Kal. In case of Nifar, it carries a passive meaning. So the Kal meaning becomes a passive. For example, in English, we have the English word break, to break. What does it mean, to break? It's a Kal meaning. If it is used in a passive stem, then the meaning is it is broken. Are you following me? So Kal means to break, Nephi means to be broken. What do we mean by PL? PL is to intensify the meaning. So when I say, all right, I broke my cup, all right, that is a Kal. And if I put it in the Nephi stem, then my cup is broken. And then in the P stem, then I'm gonna say I need to intensify. I broke the cup into powder, something like that. Okay, so I smash it, something like that. So the meaning is intensified. So now you can see that, depending on what kind of stems we have, the meaning of the action is changed. But the main meaning is still there, but the nuance and the intensity, the mood and voice, those things can be changed. Don't worry, we will come back to this. Just try to understand. Number 2, the voice of verbal actions, passive and active. So as I explained, everything is there. So the Kal is the simple or basic verbal stem. From the Kal stem, all other verbal stems are formed. All right. When there are no additional letters or other indicators, as is the case here, the stem is the Kal, the most basic and common stem. Now, then the question is, how can you see when the verb is used in other stem other than Kal? All right, there will be always an indicator. So in this case, we don't have anything. So for example, P stem will come with a dagesh appearing in the middle root letter. In this case, the mem should carry a dagesh. Then we will see that this one must be pia stem. So I'm telling you that there is always a hint indicating different stems. What do we mean by nifal? Nifal will come with nun just before the root letter. Do you understand? But here we don't have anything as an indicator. So in this case, just to put Q. So in terms of stem, you need to remember Kal, Q-A-L. So now we talk about the stem, then the possibilities are like Q or N for Nephi, P for PL. Sometimes you need to pull R, Hifil H, Hofal, Hitpile. But in Hebrew1, you will deal with Kal and PL. I think tomorrow you are going to deal with the PL stem. Okay, we are going to talk about it, but without having any indicator, just put Q stem, which is Kal stem. Okay, let me move on. Where is it? Okay, when there are no addition. Okay, so there is no change in the meaning of the verb. So in this case, you just follow whatever is given. Let me move on. And then we know that the word Adonai means the Lord. Okay, if we translate Bayomer Adonai literally, the translation will, and he said the Lord. However, in Hebrew, the order of the verb or words is usually verb and subject. Therefore, the Lord is the subject of the verb. So the right translation is, and the Lord said. It's not doubling of the subject. So as I said, the Yod gives us a little idea about the subject, the real subject. But it is not standing as the real subject because it refers to what is following. So we can imagine that, okay, Yod tells us third person masculine singular. So the subject should be he. And then finally, we have the real he. Who is he? The Lord. So the Lord. So we just replace the Yod with the Lord. All right. So you are not going to put and he, the Lord said. You need to replace he with the real subject, the Lord. Okay, so that's it. Then you have to know how to fill this table. Okay, the first thing that you need to analyze is the root letters. The second one is a stem, form, person, gender, number, special feature, meaning. And this is something that you have to remember from today onward. How do you know the root letters? Once again, your vocabulary is number one as importance here. So you have only two. So start from this general idea. Normally, what is the first thing coming in a sentence? I told you in terms of the order of a Hebrew sentence. What is it? Verb.
Verb.
Right, a verb. And then subject, and then object. So it works. Not all the time, but many times. And then do not just say that, oh, it must be a verb. Start with this idea. And then looking at it, Hebrew verb depends on your vocabulary. Then you know that Amari is what you have memorized as a verb. It works. Number three, Vav conversive will come always with a verb. If you know Vav conversive, this one, Vav, Pata, and Dagesh, and it always comes with a verb. And then you need to take out non-root letters like Vav conversive, and then what do you have? Yod. Why? Because Yod tells us third person, masculine, singular, and what form is it? Prefix. This is that you have to memorize. This is something that you need to memorize. Okay, then after taking out non-root letter, which is vav conversive, and then the yod, because the yod is prefix form, and you have only amaru, and then you know, oh, I have memorized this one. This is a Hebrew verb. Then you know this one. The root letters are aleph, mem, resh. So you are not supposed to put Hebrew vowel points here, just to put the consonant. It's okay. But we are going to put a sound so that we can read it. So it's amar. All right. Then the root letter is done. And then what about stem? I told you, without having any specific indicator for the specific stems like PL or NIFA, just to put what? Kal.
Kal.
Kal, right, kal. So you can put either Q or kal. Okay, we are done. So if you don't have any indicator, then just stay with kal. What about form? I told you, you learned the first form. What is it? Prefix. And then we have affixed and qualitative, jussive, imperative, you know, all those things. But prefix, why is it prefix? Because of what? Yes, the yod. The yod is called prefix form. And what is the significance of the yod in terms of prefix? It tells us PGN. What is it? Third person, masculine, singular. Okay, as a special feature, we put verb conversive. So whenever you have verb conversive, it should come under special features. All right, yes, that's it, Dominic. Verb conversive, meaning you are not supposed to put the Lord because your analysis is simply depend on Vayomer, not yet on Adonai. You are analyzing this Vayomer as it is. So the meaning is not the final translation. So the meaning is what? And he said. So what do you know in terms of a meaning dealing with only Vayomer? This is what we've got from Vayomer, because you are not supposed to put the Lord. Where can you see the Lord? In Vayomer. All right. So you need to put the meaning that you can see only from the given word Vayomer. Then this is it. And he said. Are you following me? Okay. Do you have any question? All right. Great.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the main gist of everything that we went over, we have a word that we memorized, the word in Hebrew, and these the vav conversive, the yod, the PGN, it just determines it determines the tense and the gender, and whether or not the sentence is. I mean, we have to figure out: is it past tense? Is it present? Is it female, male? This kind of thing.
Exactly.
So for every word, you have to analyze it.
Right. Every verb. I need to say every verb. If you have a verb, then you need to analyze it. Why? Because you need to translate it. So if you cannot analyze the verb in terms of root, stem, form, PGN, special feature, meaning, you cannot put the right translation. That's why we are doing this, you know, working on this analysis, verb analysis table. So you need to follow the order. So the first one is root letter, stem, form, PGN, special feature, and meaning. So you need to always put the right order and then try to put the right answer. What is the root letter? And think about it. And stem, you need to put kal without having any other indicator. So just to put kal. And form, fortunately, you just learned today the first form, which is prefix, because the yod is prefix form. All right. And then PGN, the yod again tells us third person masculine singular. And what kind of special feature do we have? Verb conversive is a special feature. So verb conversive, the significance of verb conversive in terms of translation is that it starts with N because of verb. And then it tells us the tense. It's a past tense, verb conversive. So that's the information that they are carrying. So in order for you to put the right translation, we need to analyze all those things. So I'm sure you may be a little bit confused since this is our first time to deal with verb, what is it, or verb analysis table, but we will do it every time. So please try to remember. Okay, let's summarize. What are the things that you have to memorize? Remember this order: root letter, stem, form, PGN, special feature, and meaning. For your assignment, you need to do the same. Using the verb analysis table that I provided, you download it, and then you need to do it. So the first thing is to find the root letter. How can you find the root letter? Number one, your vocabulary. Number two, remove non-root letters such as prefix and verb conversive. That's the only thing that I can tell you right now. What are the non-root letters? Verb conversive, right? Verb, pata, dagesh. And then the yod is what? Prefix form. So you need to take out non-root letters, and you have only three, because normally Hebrew verb consists of three letters. So you have three: aleph, mem, resh, after removing non-root letters. So then you can come up with the root letter amar, and then once again you have memorized this one. Praise the Lord. The move one. Stem, what do you put? Always cut until the time that we learn a new stem with a new indicator. Okay. And there is no any difference in terms of translation. Person, no, form, we've learned prefix. And then why is it prefix? Because of the yod, right? And then PGN, three person masculine singular. Why? Because of the yod again.
Yeah.
And special feature, you have verb conversive. So those things. And how does it affect your meaning here? Verb means and then you know the three MSG, subject is he, and then you know the meaning of amar, which is to say. So and he said. Is it done? No. The significance of verb conversive is that it carries a complete action. So you need to put it into the past tense. So now you got and he said. Is that clear? All right. So if you have any question, always feel free to get back to me. You know, I will be glad to help you, giving you a extra time so that you can come up, you can understand it. By the way, this lecture will be recorded. I mean, now it's recorded, and it will be posted somewhere in the Moodle again. So take your time to review, and then I hope your group study with your classmates will help you a lot to better understand. Okay, do you have any question?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, yesterday when I read one like a Hebrew book, and then it's actually talking about, it's about the transliteration part. Tav with dagesh point. Without dagesh point, it is like a th sound. And then with dagesh point, it says T sound. Is that, should we transliterate like that?
All right, thank you for the question. Phineas, you are so, how can I say, accurate, right? Because actually, you know, that's the difference. Well, what is the difference between tav and then the tav with dagesh lene? Then you need to make the sound stronger. So we need to put T and then TH. We need to use those sounds differently in order for us to see the difference between, you know, the letter, pegado capital letter, and then the letters with dageshelene. So I will appreciate it. But one more time, you know, we are not the native, you know, Jewish people. So I don't think it will be really necessary for us to see the difference. But when it comes to your transliteration quiz, I will appreciate that. But to be honest, T or TH doesn't make, you know, big difference to me. So if you can recognize the difference, that's okay. But when it comes to transliteration quiz, I will not really deduct the mark. for the difference between them. So just to feel free, because to me, B and V, not big deal. T, TH, not big deal. But if you know how to do it accurately for your quiz, that I want to encourage you to do it. Okay? So yeah, but when it comes to the way I grade your quiz, I will not really take it into my consideration. So feel free. The major sound is the most important thing. Okay? Thank you, Phineas.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
thank you. And may God continue to bless you with your day, and see you tomorrow.
So our quiz tomorrow is transliteration, right?
Right? So you need to, I will give you Hebrew words, and you need to put the sound in English. Okay? Like Viomer, then what are you going to put? V, A, Y, Y, O, M, E, R. So you need to put all the consonant sounds and vowel sounds in order. And then you need to know when the schwa is vocal. So when you have a schwa, the vocal schwa, then you need to put small e. When it is silent, then you are not supposed to put anything there for schwa. Okay, perhaps before you start your transliteration quiz tomorrow, probably I will give you some example. I think that will help you. All right? Okay, so see you tomorrow. God bless you.
Bye now.
Also
God
love you.
bless, Sir Kim. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.